Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, it's been a while and you guys have been asking for an update on this head unit, and today I've got it. We're going to do an overview and a review of this giant Tesla style screen head unit for the second gen Toyota Tacoma. This is the second generation of this model, and unlike the last time I had to do a video on this head unit, I'm pretty excited to get into this one today, so let's get started. Okay, so right now the head unit's already fired up, but what I'm going to do is do a hard reboot so you guys can see exactly what the boot time is on this head unit. Now it's going to take a second longer since I did it this way. If I fired the truck up right away, you'd see my boot logo pop up, which you guys will see in just a second here. There it is. So I actually added this picture of the truck just to kind of geek out. You can upload a different photo or logo or whatever you want to do to be the logo or upload screen of the head unit. So I decided to geek out on that a little bit. And in a second we'll be good. Alright, perfect. So my home screen is loading right now. Now this is what you're going to see, or at least this is how I have it set up. And this is how I have set up my home screen. Up top I've got a little widget. Up top, I've got a little widget that I've added that gives me GPS data, sunrise, sunset, and elevation, the time, and then I've got 4 apps down here on the bottom. And I've set up this home screen for while I'm on like an overlanding trip or off-roading. And let me explain that for a second. Down here at the bottom, I've got my front-facing camera, which I'll show you guys real quick. Now, I bought this camera, 30 bucks on Amazon. I'll link it in the description. And this is just so when I'm going up on an incline, I can still see the obstacles that are coming and I can kind of navigate a little bit better. Maybe if I don't have a spotter, that is a great function for me. I've got Apple CarPlay right here, which we'll get into in a second. The settings menu, which is just easy access if I needed to make an adjustment. And then Onyx Off-Road, which is what I use for all of my off-road navigation. And so essentially those 4 things are the only things that I'm going to be using most of the time in the head unit. Now there's different themes you can set up. Like this is called the modern theme, which if I go into, we're going to ignore that call real quick. Go into settings, you see the theme styles, you got modern style, and then there's also a classic style, which I'll show you guys in another clip. You can add different widgets like you see here. You can have various pages of this home screen, so just kind of like a iPad or an iPhone, you can swipe. I only have the one set up because I wanted things super simple for my personal use case, but you can add as many applications and widgets and whatnot to your pages, like so you have all these various different applications. I could take like YouTube and then maybe go here on the second page, and there you go. So it's very customizable. There is another theme setting. You go into settings, modern style. You could do classic theme, which is not as customizable, but in that situation, you've got all your apps up here at the top. And that would look like this. And so very cool as well, but this is just the one that I've decided to go with. So I know a lot of people want to see Apple CarPlay, so let's pull that up real quick. Now they have a brand new application to run Apple CarPlay. As you guys can see, it fires up way quicker than the last one did, and the connection is much better. Also, you guys may be noticing through the video, if you've seen the last videos on the previous head unit, the resolution on this screen is way better. And instead of having like the applications up here all the time and down here and having a smaller screen to work with, it now utilizes almost the entire screen besides the air conditioning controls on the bottom. And so overall, everything, the operating system, the resolution, the responsiveness is much, much better. And so as you guys can see here, you've got all your applications. These are at least all the applications on my iPhone that you can run through Apple CarPlay. Now I've just got the black background theme, but there's various themes that you can use. If you go into settings, appearance, Let's see, wallpaper. Yeah, you can do all these various settings, which are pretty cool. Whatever, I'm a simple guy. I like the black. And so that's how I have mine set up. There is one problem that I have with this unit and Apple CarPlay, which I'll show you guys here in a few minutes. But before I do that, I want to show you guys some of the features that this head unit has that makes using Apple CarPlay just really enjoyable. And so you can do split screen, which I think is super cool. So let's say I was in navigation and I wanted to have something else up as well. I could go to, I don't know, let's pull up YouTube. I don't encourage you doing this while you're driving, but you could do YouTube and you could watch a video.
Call it a day. Nice.
This is one of my videos. I just got it pulled up. Maybe you, we'll stop that.
Jeep.
Maybe you want to have a video playing for the kids. Maybe they can see it in the back, and then you want to have your navigation while you're on a trip. Just a lot of great features. Another benefit that I could see is like that front-facing camera. Say I'm navigating on the trail and I want to have my front-facing camera, which is right here. I can also do that as well. And so I can leave this up maybe while I have Onyx off-road. It doesn't have to be Apple CarPlay. This can be a different application running as well. But just by holding down this button, you have the ability to enter split screen. And there's just so much usability there. I just think this is such an awesome feature. And it may look small on the screen right here, but given how big this screen is, I mean, right here, this is basically the size of what a normal head unit would be, like a double den head unit. And so you're essentially running like the flexibility of basically running two separate head units. And so just for somebody who's into the, specifically, I'd say like the overlanding space, with this working correctly, which it finally does, it is such an awesome upgrade to the Tacoma. Instead of having to be able to like mount like, I don't know, tablet for navigation here, and maybe you got your head unit and all that kind of stuff. It's just clean, it's simple, and it finally just works right. And so very, very exciting. Love those features. Okay, so I came down the road a little ways from my house, and there's this specific place, driving down this boulevard right out here. This is Beach Boulevard in Huntington Beach. For some reason, when I drive past this specific area, normally I have Apple CarPlay connection issues, and I'm pretty sure it's because of this cell tower right here, because this is the exact spot where normally I have some type of Apple CarPlay disconnection issue. Of course, I came down here, I drove down this road, I filmed it, and it didn't disconnect today. And so, unfortunately, I can't show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, but this is the only place I ever have a connectivity issue with Apple CarPlay. Everywhere else, I haven't had any issues at all. So real quick, I want to explain why I think this head unit is better. The new generation has more memory and a different operating system. Now, I've linked to this unit in the video description, and there's also a code that will save you $50 off. If you use code EVIDENT, it will save you $50 on this head unit. Now, when you go to the link, you're going to want to scroll down, and you're going to have different options. So you've got your specs. You're going to choose with JBL or without JBL. I have JBL on mine, which is just the sound system. If your truck came with it, you'll know. If it didn't, then you'll be the other option. And then you're going to want to choose between Android 9, 4 gig RAM, 64 gig ROM, and Android 11, which is the one I have, 8 gig RAM, 128 gig ROM. And so there's a lot more memory on this new operating system. The Android 11 version is the one that you're going to want to choose. Okay, so this time around, just given the function, the way I'm using this head unit, I actually wanted to use internet a little bit more. And now I don't personally like using the hotspot. You can go to settings, system, network, and you can set up, you can turn on Wi-Fi, and then you can connect to your phone's hotspot. That seems to be kind of a pain in the butt for me, and so I actually decided to try getting a SIM card for this head unit, just to try it out, to show you guys in the video, and I may end up keeping it. But essentially, you know, I have my iPhone service through Verizon, and so I went to Verizon, got a SIM card, and there's a little SIM card adapter that comes with this head unit that you will have when you buy it, and you can, you know, pretty much get any kind of data SIM card to be able to get cellular on here. And so there's little cellular antennas that connect to the back of the head unit too. I'm not going to pull it out and show you. It's very simple. There's a great instruction manual that comes with the head unit, and so you'll be squared away in how to set it up. Okay, now one of the problems that I had with the previous version of this head unit was the climate control. There were several times where I was like in really cold environments and the air conditioning would suddenly reset on me and just go to the coldest setting on the highest setting. And it was just really frustrating that I would have it reset on me like that, and had various issues with the climate control on the last version of this head unit. On this version, I've never had it reset on me. I've never had the application crash, and I've taken this on several trips now, and I haven't had to do anything like that. Every single time I get in the car and turn the car on, it remembers the last temperature and settings that the climate control was set to, and it just goes right back to that, whatever that was. So if it was cold, it goes back to cold. If it was warm, it goes back to warm. Whatever the fan speed was, it now remembers all those settings and goes right back to them. And so that's worked really well. I will say I do miss having the knobs because they were just so simple, just easy to click and adjust. And so, you know, that is one thing that you do give up when having like an entire head unit like this. Overall, I think I've come to believe that the payoff having the big screen when everything's working correctly, as this unit seems to do, is worth it. So something I wanted to cover is a couple frequently asked questions. Now, Angel's wondering, can you plug it in and play music through your phone if you plug in through USB? Now, on the iPhone, you cannot. And Apple CarPlay will only work wirelessly. However, if you have like MP3s on like a thumb drive or something like that, the USB function, that should work because it does read those files. Now, I haven't been able to try that myself, but I assume that yes, it would work. You just wouldn't be able to play it through like your Apple Music app or something like that. You'd have to download one of, or they have a music app on the head unit, or you'd have to download a separate one. Now, Javier asks, what about basic stuff such as sound quality, radio quality, HD radio, phone calls quality, reverse camera, etc.? Now, just like the last head unit, reverse, you just put it in reverse, fires right up. Not all the Tacomas have a backup camera, and so if you don't have a backup camera, there is one that comes with it, and it's a reverse-facing camera. You cannot use that one forward-facing, but if you plug it into the right little aux connection, that it will tap into that reverse camera on the head unit, and that will work. And so the head unit that they sent me came with a backup camera. My factory camera worked just fine, but if you don't have one, then there's one that should come with the head unit. If not, you can get one for like $10 off at Amazon, and it will plug right in. They're super easy to set up, and you'd want to do that at the time of installation. Now, sound quality, music, radio, all that stuff, it sounds really good. To me, it sounds just like factory. I don't notice a difference at all. Now, call volume on the last head unit was an issue. On this one, they included a microphone. Like, my wife would always have a hard time hearing me on phone calls. They included a microphone that I just kind of routed to this little coin clip thing. Actually, I'll show you guys in just a second. But the volume that you can hear from me this time around is much better. I haven't had any problems with phone calls. Now, you can see this is the little coin tray that the Tacoma comes with. I've clipped my microphone right there. And then as you can kind of see, I just cut a little hole with using a hole saw in the back of it to route the secondary USB connection, which I usually use to charge my phone if it's in my little phone holder thing. I actually drilled 2 holes down there to kind of strap it down with some zip ties. I just haven't finished setting it up yet. And so both of those wires come through the back and then route back up to the head unit. So Edward Smith says, how does it look while wearing polarized sunglasses? Can you still see it? You know, it's like a lot of screens. Like even the camera screen that I'm using right now, if I'm here, things look fine. If I'm like right here, it's totally blacked out. This screen is exactly the same. Like where I'm looking at the screen right now, I can see it totally fine. But if I move right over here, it's totally blacked out. I don't understand why it is like that. It's still usable while you're wearing sunglasses. It just depends on what angle you're looking at the screen. Now, there's one more question that I need to answer regarding this head unit. If they didn't send it to me for free, would I still purchase it? Now, there's some things that I'd take into consideration before I answer that question. What problems that I had with it? They've been few and far between. The Apple CarPlay connectivity issue next to that one cell tower, weird, but not a deal breaker at all. The other thing to take into consideration for me would be the price point. It's a very expensive head unit, but it's also feature packed, and it checks a lot of boxes for me. If I wasn't going to purchase this head unit, I'd probably be purchasing a head unit that ran Apple CarPlay, and I'd also probably be purchasing like an iPad or tablet to run navigation. That would kind of keep my vision obstructed, and it'd be a little bit too cluttered of an interior for me. I've always wanted to keep things simple and clean, and so this is able to check a lot of boxes for me. I'm able to run that off-road navigation, I'm able to run Apple CarPlay, I'm able to do it all on this head unit, run that front-facing camera. Overall, I'm very happy with it. The fact that this thing runs smoothly, the operating system's cleaner, it's not crashing on me, the air conditioning, the climate control works great. Overall, I'm really happy with this head unit, and I'd absolutely recommend it for the right person. If you're somebody who just wants to run Apple CarPlay and you want a simple setup, this is probably a bit expensive for doing that. But if you're looking for features that I was, and you really like what this head unit has to offer, and you're looking for that big screen, the clean setup, I think this is a great option for you. So if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, you guys. I hope to see you out there. We'll catch you in the next one.